Both in Egypt and in Tunisia, we are now 2 years after the revolutions in a situation of a very dangerous polarization, which is largely due to, on the one hand, the disappointment of the citizens that with the fact that their governments have not improved meaningfully their economic and social situation, with the deteriorating security situation, and also with the reluctance of the governments led by Islamist Ennahda and the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt to embark on a more inclusive process of transition. The record of the Muslim Brotherhood-led government in Egypt, in particular, has been very harsh and very disappointing for the citizens because it had basically complied with none of their electoral promises. And what President Morsi is still failing to grasp is that the only stable transition will come about through an inclusive process which forms a government of national unity, which is based on a broad consensus of society, whereas he is still trying to basically hold on power, establish Muslim Brotherhood power in the long term through its integration institutions, and this will not work. And this is how in 30 months Mr. Morsi has now started to come to a point where he is being compared to Mubarak and where he is close to being ousted in the same way than Mubarak. And in Tunisia, to a much lesser degree, obviously, also there's a very dangerous polarization, and right now the current government crisis of Ennahda shows that as well Ennahda needs to be more exclusive. They cannot only hold on to power, they need to listen more to the people, they need to include also other forces, and especially they need to be stronger in fighting the increasingly bad security situation that comes from attacks of Salafist mobs, which people are no longer willing to tolerate. The international community has, over decades, supported the authoritarian governments, the dictators that have been ousted, by tacit support or even by active support and financial support. After the revolutions, it has switched towards supporting any elected government. It has vowed to, and has also in this line supported the Islamist governments in their capacity as popularly elected governments. Now what we see is that the international community, the US, and also to some degree the EU are starting to behave towards, in particular towards Egypt, in the very same way that they behave towards Mubarak, in the sense that they ignore human rights violations, the excessive use of force by these governments. What they should do is be much more radical in their condemnations of these kind of tools used by the Morsi government, or at least refrain from supporting it, because otherwise they are just as guilty of complicity as they were towards Mubarak in the past.